Hello, everyone, and welcome to AI Seeking the Truth. I'm trying a different way of recording this time, and I want your opinion if you like this or the other ways I've been doing it better. I've got a pretty crazy encounter that was sent in to me. It's a sad encounter, it's a scary encounter, and yeah, I believe it requires a warning. Alright, guys, let's get into this. Mike, this story has haunted me ever since I was a child. And tonight I feel like it is time to share it, and I've chosen you to share it with. I will remain anonymous as this still affects my life, and sometimes I feel like leaving this evil world because I can bear it no longer. I want to share with you the horrible nightmares that I've lived through. I remember the creaky porch steps at Jim's house where my dad would drop us off. Jim seemed nice, but he was cruel and controlling. My dad didn't notice, exhausted from work. As a child I endured harsh punishments, spankings, belt whippings, and eerie whispers that would haunt me in my nightmares. My siblings and I were terrified of Jim. Even though he was the one that kept us most of the time, he was very strict and sometimes I believe would punish us for no reason. He enjoyed spanking us, and his number one weapon, as we called it, was his belt. He loved to use his belt, and he didn't always care where he hit you. Legs, back, arms, wherever he could get you. One night, I was being watched by Jim, and I was angry at him. And in my anger, I accidentally cursed at Jim. That was a terrible mistake. He was an old, slender man, wore an old button-up shirt most of the time with tobacco hole burns in it where he would roll his own cigarettes. He carried his glasses case in his pocket, wore the old corduroy pants, and the slip-on shoes that he would tie that were jet black as his soul used to say. Jim walked over to me after I cussed, ripped his belt off, and went to town on me. He shut the door where my other siblings couldn't see what he was doing, and the belt struck again. I fled the home, bearing the cruel marks that he had placed on me. For some reason, I was the one that was always brutalized. My other siblings were spoiled beyond belief over there. I didn't hold that against them. I knew it wasn't their fault. Jim passed away, and I can't say that I was sad that he did. He was on his front porch smoking a cigarette one day. He had had a heart attack. He fell forward onto the concrete, busting his face and head opened all over. I remember seeing the blood as my dad rushed over there. I was so angry at this man that I held a lot of wrath for him, a lot of anger for him for what he had put me through. Years had passed. I was now older, but still had a lot of anger toward him. His house sit empty, and I wanted to go over, and I wanted to see inside that old house one last time. But when I went there and looked inside, the memories, they hit me hard. So I did. I trespassed, and I went into the house, and I went into the old room where he would close the door and beat me with his belt. And while I was standing in there, I decided one last time that I was going to get to do what I wanted to do. And I cussed him. I cussed him like a dog. But cursing aloud triggered his wrath. The air thickened. A chilling sound whispered through the air. I could hear it plain as day. It said, "You should not have come back." The lights in the old house started flickering, but they'd been off for years. And the door behind me slammed shut, just like he used to do. I felt the belts lash against me, the pain and fear ripping through me. Paralyzed, I knew Jim's spirit had to be attacking me. I yelled, "Find peace! Stop this attack!" I could feel the belt hitting me. I could hear the sounds of the belt hitting me, but there was nothing there. I was so afraid, so scared. I ran out of that house. I was in terror. Whenever I got home, I hadn't mentioned nothing to my father. That night, as I went in to take my nightly shower, I noticed in the mirror that the belt lashes were back, perfect across my back, my arms. You could even see the holes in the belt. What had came back and spanked me, had beat me again, just like he used to? Was it him? I've now grown older and I have my own place. And I still wake up with scratches, pain throbbing. Some nights I'm suffocated. I wake up gasping for air, like something is holding its hand over my nose and mouth as I sleep. My memories haunt me, creaking floorboards, eerie whispers, and that belt. Sometimes I see Jim's ghostly figure lurking in the shadows of my bedroom. I can see his bright white eyes burning with evil in the corner as he sits and watches me. I hear whispers in my ear. You'll never escape. Desperate, I sought help from groups. I called hotlines. I shared my story with anyone that I thought could help me. I was seeking support. I began breaking free. Forgiveness remains elusive. I could not find forgiveness, but I found strength. Jim's spirit still lingers. And I yell at him to get out of my room every time I see him, and he'll leave only for a short time, but only to return. The doctors say that I have a lot of trauma from this, and I seek help all the time from this. The shadows move and the whispers grow louder, and Jim's presence, well, he always seems to be closer and closer. His ghostly form appears in mirrors, watching me as I fix my hair before I go to work. These are only glimpses. They're not like I'm looking right at him, but I see him out of the corner of my eye. I hear the creaking of the floors, and I just hear Jim's footsteps coming after me like he used to, as fast as he could, shuffling his feet across the floors. It just terrifies me to the core. And then, my mom moved in. She had separated from her boyfriend. She had divorced my dad and had started dating this new man, and they had separated, so she moved in with me, hoping to comfort one another. I would comfort her and she would comfort me. I thought it was going to be great. But Jim's evil spirit, well, it spread to her. She woke up one morning with belt marks all over her, and she was gasping for air also. She woke me up terrified. She was afraid she would not get her next breath. She was actually struggling to get her breath. "Mom, I'm scared," I whispered to her. She told me that we would face it together, that we would get rid of this. Together we sought refuge and spiritual protections and support groups. We even called a preacher to come over to our home, and he performed cleansing rituals from the Bible with holy water and oil. But then we were saddened the next day to find out from the neighbor that the preacher that had done that was found dead in his bed the next day. He said that his eyes and mouth were frozen wide open. I knew in my heart that Jim had got him. They blamed it on natural causes, but I knew better. I just had that feeling. I'm desperate for answers. I'm desperate for anything. Anyone that's in Mike's chat that can help me, that has any information for me, please. I'm open to anything. I'm trapped. I'm unsure how to break free. Jim's spirit haunts me every moment and is getting to the point where I cannot bear this no more. I'm ready just to give up and to quit. To give him what he wants. To give him my body, my spirit, my soul. I can't battle this any longer. It's too hard on me. And the more I want to give up, there is something inside of me that refuses to let me. Something that refuses to let me surrender. But I'm truly at my end. I wouldn't be sharing this with a social media group if I needed answers. I can't find them anywhere else. Please, anyone. I'll be reading the comments. I would say the preacher probably wasn't strong enough to do what he was trying to do, and it attached to him, and it probably took care of him. You need a preacher, you need a strong preacher. Rebuke it in Jesus' name is what I would tell you to do. Um, Stay away from mediums and cleansing and sage. I would seek a preacher out, and if you can't get rid of it in that house, maybe even move if you have to, and have the other home cleansed before you move in, and all your items, cleansed. So just in case he's attached to it. If you have anything he gave you, or any presents he might have gave you all over the years, or anything since he was watching you and close to your dad, I would get rid of those also. But you'll also get some good advice in the chat. We have a lot of very smart people that watch this, so hopefully we'll be able to help you. Thank you for sharing your encounter. I know it must be hard, and I hope that we're able to help you in some way. Thank you for listening, guys. If you're not subscribed to this, I'd like to ask you to subscribe to AI Seeking the Truth and follow us the same as you do Abnormal Investigations. This is our backup channel, and we appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for listening.